All right. Hi, Angela. How are you?
Hi, Douglas. It's nice to be here.
This is going to be a giggly interview, I can tell. We're just going to laugh kind of all the way through this one, but it should be fun nevertheless. Yeah?
Absolutely. Life is too short not to laugh.
Absolutely true. Did you have a nice Christmas?
I did. It was quiet and Santa Claus came, so it was great.
And what did you get Trigger for Christmas?
Well, his regular treats: carrots, apples, and a little extra hay, alfalfa, and lots of pets. I make a point to see him at least twice on every holiday. So like twice a day on every holiday, just because who doesn't need that little extra special attention.
Just for people who don't know, can you just tell people about Trigger a little bit? Quick story.
Well, Trigger's my horse. I've owned him for about 26 years, or he owns me, one way or the other. I've written a book about his our journey in life, and he's like my soulmate. I have to say, it's just that I love him, would do anything for him, and I feel that he has come into my life to teach me so many things about myself, which animals tend to do. So I just feel so blessed and fortunate to have him in my world. And now he is now 40, about 41, 42 years old. You never quite know the exact date if you didn't have them as a colt, but he's around there. So I know that each day that I spend with him is pretty valuable. So
Is that a normal lifespan for a horse? That seems outrageously long.
well, that is a long time, and people always joke at me and they say, if I want to live to be in my 90s or live to be 100, I want to come live with you because I'll just nurture you to death or something. Um, but I guess one of the world records for a horse is 60 years old, so that is really old. But I think a majority of horses live to be 20 to 30 years old, depending on how well they're taken care of. And as we age, it does, you know, cost more money to live. So I have to put a lot more effort into his grain and medicines and just taking care of him and making sure that, he's I can do all that I can so he can survive the winters in Colorado, in which they're pretty nice, but once in a while we'll get a snowstorm, which can be kind of hard on an older horse.
I know there was the great story about Elizabeth Taylor when she did National Velvet. And after the shooting, the studio gave her the horse that they used for the shooting of National Velvet. And she said that horse lived to be 45 years old. She took care of it until it died 45 years after shooting the movie.
Well, I'm very committed to him, and I know he's committed to me, and love is what makes love is what heals. It makes the world go round too. And at the end of the day, if you want to transform anything in life, whether it's yourself or um, your health or your finances, whatever it may be, you add so much love and light to the situation that it literally shifts the experience of what's happening in this world. And that's really what our book is written about. I write about spiritual God stories, and Trigger Story is a God story, and I just feel so blessed to be able to share our message with the world and in how we do it.
Well, perfect segue, okay, because I was just going to bring up the book. Your book is called A Charmed Journey, right?
Yes.
And before you talk about the book, give just a quick backstory of what you do as a intuitive consultant and spiritual healer, and then
Okay.
kind of tie it together with the book. I know I'm
Okay.
asking you to do a lot, but I think you can handle this.
Well, as an intuitive, I'm highly sensitive to energy. So, sensing energy, feeling energy, just getting into the flow of energy. And we all have an electromagnetic field around our bodies. So, what I do is I tap into people's energy field and help them navigate through challenges that they have, or maybe they have questions concerning relationships, or maybe business situations, feng shui. And I'm an intuitive, so I just intuit what's going on a spiritual realm and relate messages. So that's from the intuitive perspective. And as a life coach, I think that we all need help every once in a while. I know that before I really became the person that I am, I need a lot of help, and I sought out life coaches or therapists to help me navigate my way. And so I just feel like this is part of my calling on how I can serve others and give back to how I got to where I am, and do what I can to help the greater good.
Now, do you work with clients one-on-one? Uh, Presumably now with COVID, you're probably doing a lot of this online. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I have an office, and people are welcome to come into my office. Um, but I've transitioned quite a bit over to the virtual sessions, and I am teaching classes now, which all that information is on my website. So I want to do once a month. I'm going to do like a life coaching class where you can show up on Zoom. It's a 2-hour call or session, and we're going to start at the top, and my goal is to do it once a month, and you just help to make 2021 a better year than 2020, on some aspects, and just to really raise the vibe, raise the elevation of each individual's consciousness, because when we work together, we can really bring each other up and achieve goals and feel better along the way. So that's
Okay.
that's my goal right now, is just to do the once a month life coaching it'll be a large group, and move from there.
Have you ever had a client that you got a really bad feeling about? Somebody that just, they were hiding something really nasty in their psyche, or something, just a really bad energy that you picked up from them. You ever had somebody like that?
Well, I've been doing this work for 16 years, so I've met a lot of people, thousands of people, and I wouldn't say that. I think generally people are good, and if you're going to come into my office or have a session with me, then you're generally a good person. We all have that shadow side within each of us, that the things that we're ashamed of, or feel guilty from, or resentful, or whatever that is, that story that seems to be drug along with us wherever we go. And my job is to help you face those fears, face that part of you, so you can heal from it and you can move beyond where you are. And I found in my own life that my greatest success has been from healing myself and being able to confront all parts of self, the light part and the dark part. And there's night and day. There's it isn't like the dark is bad. It just is. It's more of that shadow side, where those things that we want to hide, we put away in that closet, and sooner or later those skeletons do creep out, and they do consume our world on a subconscious level unless we are aware of it. So I'm pretty good at going into that subconscious part of the mind and being able to pull out a story, so that healing can happen there, and in a very loving and compassionate way, hopefully. But sometimes I have to give a butt kick as well. I've needed quite a few butt kicks in my life.
Well, so I guess to answer my question, then, you really haven't had anybody on that was just had such bad energy that you just couldn't deal with them, right?
Yeah, I don't call it bad energy. I call it hurt, really.
Hurt. Okay.
Because we generally act out because of a hurt. It isn't because we're bad. I have, in my line of work, I've worked with FBI cases, murder cases. So, quote unquote, bad people, right? And it can get a little heavy sometimes. So I tend not to pursue that path, but I know that when I'm asked to do it, then that is my next job. That's the next thing in front of me that I have to help out in whatever way I can. So I've always been intuitive from a very young age. Well, I started really honing my skills at about 14 years old. So it isn't that I, just read a few spiritual books on intuition or being psychic and thought, oh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. It's a soul calling, and it is something that I've tried to avoid, but haven't been able to get away from. So I just learned how to accept it and how to work with it.
What were you doing before this?
Well, before this, I thought that I wanted to go into investment banking or maybe the hotel industry. And I have my business degree, and that was the route that I was pursuing. And then one night, my mom just passed away in her sleep, and she was, my best friend, and I talked to her 5 times a day, and my whole life just changed in a matter of seconds right after that phone call. And after that moment, like 20 some years ago, I began to ask myself, what am I here to do? What is my purpose? And that then opened the door to what I do today.
So you just this was like your calling. You just sort of figured this out on your own. That
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured a lot of it out I would say on my own. Now I've had a lot of people that have helped me, that walk your path with you. But at the end of the day, I had to figure it out on my own. And it's been through trial and error. I would say that I've probably made as many mistakes or more so than I have successes. But I just choose to look at those mistakes as learning lessons. And I have a very strong faith in God, and that has always been innate. I've always just followed that, and it has been the most incredible journey. It hasn't come without its challenges, of course, but I feel extremely blessed to have lived the life that I have. So that's why I'm so passionate about helping other people heal their own lives, because I know that their internal power is what will move them forward in the direction that feeds their soul, that feeds their spirit. And that's what it's all about, is being happy, feeding that part of who you are. But we can't always access it if we have a big barrier over our own hearts, and that usually comes from the hurt.
Real quick, your book called A Charmed Journey, does that sort of chronicle is this a memoir, biography in any way?
It's my memoir. It's my life
Okay.
story. Yeah. And, I just, one day I just sat down and said, I'm going to write a book, and I opened my computer and started typing. Had no idea what I was doing or how to do it, or the right people to connect. But I just thought, what, I'm just going to get this out, and then I'll wait to see what the next step is. And that's exactly what I did. It took me probably 8 or 9 months to write. And, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would get a writing coach or somebody that could kind of coddle me. So I decided to just find a park bench and sit there and open my computer screen and just start typing. And that's it. It turned into a charmed journey.
How long has the book been out?
Quite some time. I think it was published in 2014, or the first edition was like 2012, and then Wayne Dyer endorsed my book, and then I got a new cover made. So I mean, it's the same content, but I think it was 2013, 2014. I look. It's so interesting. I'll look at my book now, or once in a while, I'll see it, go past Facebook or whatever, and I'll think, oh, who is that girl? And I'm like, oh, it's me, because I don't resonate with it as much anymore, because it's who I had. It's who I was to become who I am, but I had to share the lessons that God pretty much told me I had to share the lessons. to help other people in whatever life has handed them. So
Okay, great. We do have to wrap this up. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
I do. So it's angelalenhardt.com. So it's Lenhardt. And on my website is all the information about how I work and who I am. And my books are located there as well as upcoming classes and stuff.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. This was a delight. Best of luck with everything. And give a carrot to